Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Modern Investing on Pod TV, and my name is Sasha Star, and our guest today is Jim Eat from Eat Foundation. Welcome to the show, Jim.
Thank you so much for having me, Sasha. It's great to be here.
Yeah.
And great to be watching the stock market with you.
Yeah. And also we are watching the World Soccer Championship.
Yeah, it's true, too.
It's a final week. There are only 3 matches left. One today is England, Argentina. And then Saturday will be a match for 3rd place. It will be France against loser of today's match.
Right.
And Sunday is a great final, Spain against winner of today's match.
Right.
So there is a spectacular end of this World Championship. Now, how is the market today, Jim, according to what you see?
Well, I think it's up generally. The chips are having the chip makers are having a little bit of a struggle. So my portfolio isn't as good as the market overall would suggest. But I have, as I've told you before, made a transition away from AI-specific stocks to those companies that support the AI industry and the data centers that are exploding across, because the data centers are necessary to support the AI. And some of the companies that I've invested in are, like, the ticker is APH. And what they do is they connect these data centers, they connect what AI needs. They provide the fiber or the copper, depending on what people want, and they can supply both. And so this company, I think, has got a good upside. And so I've moved a little bit away from the semiconductor, which I've been talking about for a long time. Companies such as Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, Marvell, and of course we both invested in NVIDIA. So my attention is moving a little bit away. So I'm very focused on a specific sector of the market. So my experience can be very good when the market's down and very not so good when it's up. So it depends on the sector in my portfolio anyway.
Today was a release of ASML earnings.
Yes.
And their earnings are very good and everything, but their stock didn't react to it a certain way. It went actually down. Now there's a very interesting story about IBM earnings, and it plunged 25%, saying that the AI sector actually suggests that there could be a little bit too much accent on that, and they're guarding their outlook. And but still, okay, so they would have earnings 5% down from what's expected, but the stock plunged 25%.
Wow.
So maybe it would be a time to pick up some IBM shares, not today, but maybe next few days. Now I'm got gravitated to stocks that it's extremely risky. At the same time, it's moving quite a bit in either direction. It's a strategy stock. MSTR. It used to be MicroStrategy. Now they call it strategy. Okay, it's up today a little bit. And if you can imagine a scenario where Bitcoin will move up, not even substantially, but just a little bit, anywhere from 65,000 to say 72, 74 is quite likely, then strategy can make quite a big move. It's trading now under $100, 97 something, and it will move to probably 120, 125, if not higher, because it used to be like 200 plus stock. for quite a while, and so there is a potential of that.
Right.
Still, I'm very careful with this. I've sold covered calls. For example, stock is now actually almost 99, 98, 94. And I sold, I did several times. I was selling covered calls and the stock would go down. I would buy them back, generating some profits here and there.
Yeah, it looks
And
interesting.
yeah, and then I have now my latest position on calls, on covered calls. This 102 expiring by July 24. So there's still a little bit more than a week left. 102 is doable. I think it could
Sure.
be the time 102, maybe even more. So if that will happen, I will defend my position. I will buy back these calls and will issue new calls at probably August, some date, whatever I haven't determined yet, and with a strike probably around 105, maybe 107. So I will try to defend this position, believing that the stock would move higher. Now the question is then why to sell covered calls at all? Just hold on to a stock. I would gladly do, but I still can see a lot of volatility in the stock, same as in Bitcoin.
Yes, of
So
course.
it can move up and down in a very volatile move. So at least that creates me a cushion. See, these calls are now at say $4 a piece. So if stock is about 99, so if it goes down to 95, I'm still protected.
Right.
Especially that my buying price of strategy is 95, 91, so 96 essentially. So 96 minus 4, 92. So if stock will go all the way down to 92, I'm still protected.
Right.
Now, if you'll go to higher prices, first of all, even if I will not defend the position, I will still come on top, because if my price is 96 and stock will take in away at 102, so it's already $600 and $4 that I got for a call. So it's still $10 for each position.
Right.
So I'm prepared to live with that type of scenario.
Yes. So it's a good strategy, especially with the volatile stocks. I don't have the stomach for them that I used to. But this one seems like it will move up and down quite a bit. But just in the last 3 months, it's been very high, and lower, and so it's and especially when you're protecting yourself, as you said, it's a good strategy.
I think it's a good strategy, and especially it's very important what you think about Bitcoin, where Bitcoin is going to move.
Right.
I think Bitcoin was down for quite a while. I think it formed the base. I think it can move up. It's not going to move up to 120 some dollars, but I think 70, 72 is quite achievable.
Well, the thing about Bitcoin is, what is Trump investing in with cryptocurrency? And that's where the Saudi money is going to go. And
yeah, okay. I wish I would know what he's investing. I don't know really what he's investing now, if he's investing at all, because he has a lot of problems to deal with beside crypto, and crypto was exposed. Actually, I'm not sure if you're aware of latest publication from BBC about the crypto billionaires, and they identified 12 people who control wealth of half of total wealth of 8 billion people living on Earth. Half of all the assets is controlled by 12 people. So when they compare it, okay, let's see, if you take 12 biggest governments, maybe they control that much together, but they have obligations. They have to provide health care, they have to provide the infrastructure, they have to provide so many things from their profits if there are many. I don't think that U.S. is in that league because they have $40 trillion debt to deal with. But still, they have a lot of obligations. These 12 people, they don't have any obligations.
Right.
So they control an enormous amount of wealth, which is not under anybody controls except these 12 people.
Right.
Because this is creates an unbearable situation. So essentially, what these people, how they reshuffle their investments, they can take out money of infrastructure build up and direct it to somewhere else. I'm trying actually to predict where the next money will flow as investments are concerned. The problem with that is, first of all, you cannot pinpoint the sector, you cannot pinpoint the date. So in a way, you have to take a plunge and be prepared to bury the losses. Not significant ones. I'm not prepared to gamble anything heavy on this.
Preservation of principle.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing is I'm getting a little bit attracted to supercomputers these days because
quantum computers, yes.
Yeah, SMCI, Rigetti computers, something like this. Not that I love these companies or I believe in these companies, but simply because they're beaten up so much that could attract some money that people are taking out from the chips now. Maybe some of this money will go into this, and they're not big companies, so even a small fraction of this money from the chip makers could actually help them to get their price higher, maybe even significantly higher, depends on how much money you're talking about.
It's from my analysis, that is where the next big move will be in terms of the transfer of wealth from one sector to another.
Yeah,
it will be in that direction. There has been more science around the quantum computers, which will make them perform even faster. And so this capability, although it is here, it is not yet exploited in the way that will result in revenue streams, which is really what attracts investors. But the whole AI industry now, one of the things, the outcomes of it, which was pretty predictable, but it's coming true, is like companies like Goldman Sachs, for example, is saying that AI now can give you advice for their clients. So they're using, instead of their agents doing their own research and advising their clients, they're using AI. And what that means is that a lot of people are going to get the same kind of advice. And so they're going to invest in the same things. But the money that you're talking about that's concentrated in the very few hands, they are moving in a different direction. So the AI is tracking the past, and they are moving into a future direction. And when you can predict the future direction, that's when you can get enormous returns on your investments.
Yeah.
When you're doing what everybody else is doing, not so much. If the market is going up, everybody, all boats rise, so that's fine. But predicting the next future, and I think the quantum computing companies and those companies that can end up generating revenue will be the next great gainers. They'll be the NVIDIAs of the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, I'm not giving up on NVIDIA. I think that in few months, price of 250 is quite achievable. They're performing spectacularly.
The revenue streams are just eye-opening every time. Yeah.
Absolutely, and they're creating new partnerships, and they're quite active there. But for me, NVIDIA is not necessarily the part of portfolio, or even I'm talking about fund portfolio, that I would necessarily have to have. In fact, my large position in NVDY is tied up to NVIDIA quite handsomely. Because once NVIDIA moves up, NVDY immediately falls and rises just as well. So from whatever moves of NVIDIA hopefully will happen, I will benefit through ownership of NVDY. Plus, it's still paying
the dividends. So the dividends is the main thing, the main attraction of the NVDY, because they pay them weekly, and it goes up and down with how NVIDIA is doing, but the dividends come regularly. So you talked me into investing in that as well. I still own NVIDIA, though. I still have that.
Yeah. I used to, I own NVIDIA from time to time, but
Right.
Sometimes I'm selling covered calls, so it's taken away. So I don't defend the position because if you go, see, NVIDIA kind of volatile stock, it achieves certain plateau and then goes down. Well, we remember it was 236.
Yeah,
it didn't stay there even for one day. It immediately went down, 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 down. Okay, now it went up to 210. I think they.
Yeah, let me check that.
And it couldn't stay there. It's moving down right away. So okay, so but when it moved to recently to 210, then NVDY moved considerably higher as well.
Right.
So I decided, okay, I can participate in NVIDIA through NVDY for time being, but there will be a time, I think by the end of the month, I will still pick up some NVIDIA stock simply because at the end of August, they will have a report and
it'll be good.
Story, yeah. It'll be good. And stock may start moving before the report. Actually, on the report day, it could move down. But before the report, it could move a little bit higher. I'm not talking about 250 right here and there, but maybe 215, 220. It's quite possible.
Oh, I think so. And, one of the interesting things about NVIDIA is, I owned it and I made a nice profit and I sold it. And then they split. And so I bought it again. And so now I have a nice profit again. And I still don't think it's achieved its upside. The problem I see is it's got a 5 trillion market capitalization. So that's so expensive and so much money. The upside I think is somewhat limited. But the market analysis that I see is that still, like Morgan Stanley, for example, still thinks it's its top pick. So,
Jim, I don't know if you're aware that there are quite a few analysts. They're talking about NVIDIA on its valuation price per earning ratio. It's by far the cheapest stock in AI.
Yeah. And because of the earnings, and that's really what I pay attention to. And even though we've talked about this in the past, the people can expect revenues, and so the revenue report can be really, really good, but they were expecting more. So a stock can take a little hit when the revenues come out because people were disappointed. They were disappointed because their expectations were so high, but their expectations were so high because NVIDIA keeps meeting them or exceeding them so often. And so when a company is doing that, I'm still holding it. And I've also done the NVDY as well to participate in the dividends as well. But I do think that, the other stock that has done extremely well is AMD. AMD
but not today.
Not today, but overall.
Overall, they've done quite good.
It's over double the position that I had. And it is a little down today. But if you look at the last 3 months from March to July, it's up 300%.
Exactly. So in this case, AMD ownership of the stock was much more beneficial than NVIDIA.
Right.
I must say.
And so this is one of those old, I used to call them old dusty chip makers like Intel. And Intel has not had, Intel got a big boost from the CHIP Act. And I think, didn't Trump invest in Intel?
Not Trump, but the U.S. government.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Not one and the same.
The real thing when government would buy the equity position in one of the companies. It's,
I think that is
unusual situation.
It is very, very wrong on many levels. But in any case, Intel's gotten a lot of cash, but AMD seems to have been positioned more appropriately for the AI change in revenues generating.
Their products are just more advanced than Intel in this situation. So that's very important. So
Yeah.
Intel has to come up with a lot of new products.
They've got a lot of catching up to do. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Even if they have money, that doesn't guarantee
Great.
development of far better and powerful products.
Right.
So that's where Intel's program, at least for time being. Also, we're talking about chips and their usefulness. There are a lot of new partnerships like NVIDIA, what's doing. And now I've heard a lot of, for example, partnerships with the biochemical and drug industries. For example, a company like Pfizer can really benefit from that because the development of new drugs will be so much more effective with AI. So that would benefit companies like Pfizer and there's many others in that field.
Yes.
So, but I have Pfizer though in my core portfolio because of dividends. They're paying 7% or so dividends.
Right.
So that's why it's not doing anything spectacular. It's been like around $25 for quite some time, but they're paying dividends. And who knows, maybe create at the end of the day, it will be a base from which Pfizer could go up to maybe $30 or so. That's quite possible. Plus they can increase dividends, maybe buy their own stock, which would help the price action for Pfizer. So there are a lot of positives on that, and I see that it's kind of you can sit on it for quite a while because the downside on Pfizer is very limited. It may go to occasionally $23, 24 something, but it's sitting there very nicely. I think it create a base sooner or later. They will perform.
Right.
I think.
And 7% will keep you. It'll preserve your capital and is above inflation. So, inflation is probably going to rear its ugly head with what's going on with the. I no longer really believe what the White House is saying. They're going to slap tolls on ships, oil ships that are coming through the Strait of Hormuz, and then they aren't. So it's sort of like there's a treaty, then there isn't, and so the news. I think people are on the inside are profiting from whatever the announcement is going to be, but people such as myself are on the outside looking in, so we can't predict what's going to happen, and so I'm staying out of those things that are definitely affected. But even with whatever's going on in the geopolitical world, I think the AI companies and eventually the quantum companies are going to be pretty much inured from any negative flows of that. But it is affecting the world economy, and we're still part of a global economy. Whether we pretend otherwise or not, we still are, if the world economy suffers, we will pay the price as well.
Well, the problem with the prices of oil is that how many times Trump says that the United States is not part of the countries that will be affected by closing of Strait of Hormuz or so on. So why, when the world price going higher, then the prices on U.S. gas stations are going higher just as well, in spite of the fact that U.S. has plenty of oil. So that's kind of a strange development. And it's not very good for Trump and the upcoming midterm election, because if he's threatening now full-scale invasion, and but it may be just a talk. I don't think.
I think he's just talking. I think even although he's fired the great advisors that he had and replaced them with mediocre ones, I still don't think that they're going to let him just follow, because sometimes they just say what Trump wants we'll do. But that would be so that country would not re-elect people who supported that type of operation.
Yeah, I agree. So a midterm election is getting closer and closer. So let's see. There is August, September, October, 3.5 months left.
And what there may be some sort of October surprise that we can't anticipate.
That's true. Yeah.
who knows what that will be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely correct. So in this kind of a world, we have to stick to something what works for us and follow the market, make adjustments if and when needed, and not pay much attention to today's full scale invasion. Now we have a memorandum. Now we don't have memorandum anymore,
Yeah.
and it's changing every
We have a
hour.
blockade. We don't have a blockade. We have a blockade.
Yeah. Though we're gonna now charge everybody 20% for
Oh,
going.
no, we aren't. Yeah.
No, we decided not to. So this is kind of. I think he just desires to be in the news all the time.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what he says, but he's in the news, so people are discussing that and
Yeah.
thinking about that and so on. That's basically all he wants. He just
And he also throws temper tantrums, and then sometimes he changes his mind the next day because he was just mad when he said it, and so these sometimes there's nobody to give him a timeout, but he needs it from time to time.
Yeah. He would be better off just to play golf.
I know.
In Mar-a-Lago and just forget about Iran and
But he wanted to be on Mount Rushmore. He wants the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah. And he wants all these monuments with his name on it, and so this is what he really wants is like a eternal, respect or something like that. Homage to him for the rest of his life.
I think Nobel Committee would be wise to invent a new Nobel Prize, a war prize.
Oh gosh,
a Nobel War Prize.
And we don't have a Department of Defense anymore. We have a Department of War. So
Department of War, and then Trump could have a great chance. Actually, there would be no competition; he would just get it.
Yeah.
All the way. Well, Jim, thank you so much for today's program. We are going to get ready for England-Argentina match.
Yes.
Today in about an hour and a half.
What about the Spanish goalkeeper? He's had so many shutouts. He hasn't allowed a goal yet. Do you think that's going?
Belgium. Yeah, Belgium scored against Spain.
Oh, okay.
But
my mistake.
Belgium was much more potent against Spain than France. Yes.
Yeah, that was a tougher match. You're right. I remember now. Yeah.
Was playing probably their worst match in generations.
Yeah.
And although I must admit, Spain beat them now 3 times in a row.
Yeah. And that didn't seem like a fluke yesterday.
Yeah. No, yesterday. Actually, my predictions was right. I had a bet that Spain will move into final. And why I had that bet was I figured out that as long as Spain will control the midfield,
which they seem to be doing,
France has no chances because they need supply ball to like Mbappe and others. And if they don't have the ball, if Spain controls the ball in midfield, that's it. Okay, Spain was very lucky, of course, with the penalty at the beginning of the game. It was a lawful penalty. I have no problem with that. But it could not happen in a normal scenario. That wouldn't happen. So there will be still 0-0 game and there would be fight. But once France started to lose 1-0, so they have to score now to equalize. And how to do it if you
take chances.
Don't have the ball?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So
you get more reckless with your play.
Yeah, that was a fantastic.
All right, so we will enjoy.
Looking forward to today's match. Jim, thank you again.
My pleasure. And thank you for having me. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. you.